fight, first of all, congratulations, that was incredible.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
When you went to the stool, what were the odds in your head of this continuing to the second round?
I kind of had the assumption that it was over because after I threw that knee and we ended up getting onto the ground, I heard his coaches yelling, saying, "Hey, that's a bad cut. You need to end this now." So I was under the assumption that his coaches knew that if he didn't finish me, or if the fight didn't end right there, that the doctor would step in and stop it, and I was right.
Okay, so that's right at the end of the first round. But let's talk a little bit about halfway through that round when you did, or a little bit closer to the end when you did cut him. Mm-hmm. He got on your back for a little bit. Yeah. Can you feel how bad he was leaking? Did you know that it was near?
Yeah. As soon as we got into that scramble, I realized how slippery we were, and I knew we weren't that sweaty yet, so I was assuming that one of us was bleeding. And, I looked down and I saw the puddles of blood, so I was like, oh, shit.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
So what was your first reaction to actually seeing that cut that ended the fight?
I knew it was bad. The doctors asked if I was the one cut, and I looked over and I saw him, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, So I knew as soon as I knew it was pretty bad. The dude's a stud, and he's a savage, and he didn't want to stop, and I respect that. I probably would have done the same thing if I was in his shoes. So.
I was going to say that knee would probably put a lot of people out.
Yeah, I felt him buckle as soon as I landed it, but the fact that he didn't drop in general, I was like, he's a tough dude. He's a savage, man, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him.
So I've already seen this being called one of the nastiest cuts in MMA history. Do you agree, or do you think people are hyping it up a little too much already?
I'm going to be humble, and I'm going to say people may be hyping it up a little bit. That's probably the nastiest cut I have ever personally inflicted on someone, for sure. But in MMA history, I'll be humble and probably say that there's probably quite a few more out there that are a little gnarlier than that one.
So 2-0 in the PFL now, two really solid opponents. What's next for you? Do you plan to be in the tournament next year, or you just kind of want to keep taking these fights?
Whatever they want to give me, I won't say no. I have a lot of things going on right now. I just found out that God blessed me with a second kid. So me and my wife are expecting another little one. Not sure if it's a boy or girl yet, but we'll find out soon. So if the PFL continues to want to bless me and continue to have me back, I will absolutely never say no.
Very happy to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second PFL win in less than 2 months. Talk to me about that turnaround. Did you like the quick turnaround?
Yeah, like I said, 2 days before I flew out to fight Joseph Luciano, that's when I found out my wife was pregnant. So that kind of just motivated me even more. And, the more things progress in my personal life, the more I want to make my professional fighting life even accelerate even farther. So it feels great, Again, these guys in the tournament, they fight the same schedule. They fought the same amount of time, and they don't have a problem with it. And I do hope to be in the tournament next year, so I'm going to have to get used to quick turnarounds, and I do not have a problem with it at all.
And last question for me, how are you going to enjoy Atlantic City?
I have a lot of family in Jersey. My dad grew up here, so I have a lot of aunts, uncles, cousins that are here right now tonight. So I'm going to go enjoy my win with them. Unfortunately, my wife couldn't be here, so I'm going to go have a long conversation with her, tell her how much I love her, and give love to my 3-year-old son, and make sure my unborn child knows that I love them too.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, sir, congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
First thing I got to ask, got the TKO finish, but it seems like at first you were trying to finish it by guillotine. Was that something? Were you just tell us about that? Because sometimes the guillotine, some people are just good with guillotines, other people are not. Was that?
Like I said, he's a stud, man. I heard him gurgling. I thought I was gonna get the tap like 2 or 3 times, and again, I'll be humble. My guillotine is it's one of my best submissions, and the fact that he just stood up and shook me off, that kind of, it made me feel like, all right, I'm going to have to put in a lot of work if I want to choke this guy out, and yes, the guillotine was in my game plan. We were both wrestlers, and I knew that he was going to either attempt to take me down if I didn't take him down first, so I was planning to guillotine him, and, like I said, he shook me off 2 or 3 times, and, I was like, oh, shit, he's a stud, man. He's a savage.
Do you think for your next fight, do you think are you going to try to work on the guillotine so that doesn't happen again, or are you going to, any thoughts on the future of the guillotine for you?
Yeah, man. Like I said, you're not perfect at any one thing. Just because the guillotine's my number one submission doesn't mean it can't get better. It can always get better, no matter how good you are. you know, and, you know, I plan on, you know, going to the gym next week and working right on my guillotine finishes.
And also curious to know as well, what motivates you? What is your mental or emotional and physical motivation when it comes to fighting?
My family, God. You know, God has blessed me with, you know, the opportunities in my life. Some things that I feel like I don't deserve, but He chose to put them in my life anyway, and I am forever grateful for that. And, you know, He let me find my wife, gave me one beautiful son and one beautiful child on the way, you know, and I owe all thanks to Him, man. It's just, that keeps me motivated. It's just my family.
That's all I got. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you talk to us a little bit about your game plan going into this fight, and did anything particularly catch you by surprise?
Yeah, he started off orthodox. All the fights that I've watched, he started off southpaw, and I feel like he probably knew that, so he did it. He started orthodox just to mess me up a little bit. That was a little unexpected. I was planning on using leg kicks at first, just to, you know, soften it up. You know, if he started in southpaw, but he started in orthodox, and I saw, you know, that right hand, so I threw it and got my first takedown, and that's all she wrote.
And last one for me, at what point did you realize those knees were going to be there?
Kind of just in the moment. Like, as soon as I got that clinch, I kind of saw he was ducking his head a little bit, and that's when I just decided to send one. And as soon as the first one connected, I threw a second one, and he caught it, and I slipped, and that's when we took me down the second time. But yeah, as soon as I saw him duck his head in that clinch, that's when I was like, I'm going to throw this now.
Awesome. Congrats on the big win.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I know you mentioned wanting to be a part of the World Tournament next year and letting your career progress with your life. What do you think you've shown yourself and maybe your coaches and your career that you have been staying on track with the World Tournament pacing this year before you even enter it?
Just I'm capable, you know. I come here, I show up, I give 110% every time. You know, there's absolutely no way I will step into that cage not ready to give it all, to give my life. Just, you know, whatever the outcome happens, I will walk out of that cage with my head high, knowing that I put 110% into everything. You know, like we all know, you can't win them all. You might lose some, but no matter what, whether I get my hand raised or not, I'll always be able to walk out knowing that I did everything I could to get my hand raised.
While the tournament's taking the spotlight, I think you're one of the few PFL fighters this year who have really captured, you know, greatness not being a part of the tournament. Can you just talk about the opportunities they've afforded you and, you know, what you've done with the promotion so far this year?
Can you ask that again?
Yeah, can you just talk about, like, the opportunities that PFL has given you this year?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you're finding more success than some in the actual tournament.
Yeah. You know, I'm grateful, you know. I'm sure some of you guys know that my first PFL fight got canceled due to a fighter missing weight, so Joseph Luciano got bumped into the tournament. You know, so I'm just grateful, you know. And then I had an opportunity to come back, you know, about a month and a half later and fight Luciano anyway, pulling out the victory. You know, like I said, if the PFL wants to keep calling me back, I will answer the phone every time. I don't care. Like, they can call me, you know, in 2 weeks, and I'll be there. I'll be ready. I don't care. I am more than grateful, and again, like I said, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be standing here talking to all of you guys. You know, I'm grateful.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks again.
Absolutely.